Jez in Finsbury Park and Don't Go. Right, Gary Numan in 5 minutes, live on Six Music with me, legend. But first, another record that samples him, and this has been in my head for 24 hours now.
Six Music. This is BBC Radio 6 Music.
Sugar Babes, Freak Like Me. And we all recognise where that comes from, don't we? It's time for
Six Music.
Liz Kershaw's Legend in Your Own Lunchtime.
It definitely is. I've had loads of people all week. Is it true you've got Gary Numan on the show? Is it true? What time's he on? Hiya, Gary. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Really pleased to see you. And I've just had a really lovely moment where I put on the Sugar Babes, which of course samples Our Friends Electric, and the three little girls next door, one of them shouts, "Hey Dad, do you like this one?" To which you replied, "Yeah, it's all right." So, do you like the way they used your music?
Yeah, I really did. I was. It was exciting because I can't remember exactly when that came out, but I think it was about 2003
or something.
Was it nearly 25 years after I wrote Our Friends Electric, and it still sounded really cool and current. So that was a nice, from a songwriting point of view, that was a nice feeling.
Well, that has been in my head since yesterday when it was. I thought I'd put that in the show. Then I had this earworm, and then you came on Whistle Test last night. One of the main reasons I watched it, and you did your version, which you're about to hear in a minute.
Yeah,
and I just thought of the power of that. I was trying to count how many notes are in it when I was getting on the train today. It just sticks in your head. Do you know when you've come up with something like that, how powerful it's going to be?
No, you really don't, actually. Well, I don't. Maybe some people write stuff and they are aware of it. But I when I wrote the song, it was never meant to be a single. You know, it's really long. It's 5.25 minutes long. It doesn't have a chorus as such. You know, there's no. It's a spoken word chorus. You know, all the boxes that you would normally tick for a hit single, didn't tick any of them. You know, so it was a real surprise when it did what it did. I just thought it was. My biggest hopes for that song and the album that it came from was that I would be able to headline the Marquee, the club in Wardour Street, which is, you know, the place I was playing at that time. Yeah, it seemed like a big step up at the time, and that was my level of ambition for it. So what happened was phenomenal.
Well, there's so many others as well, because play Basement Jack. Jack Celia as well, which has got a couple of your samples in. Yeah. So you are okay with that? It's a form of flattery then? Yeah, but there's been... So I used to keep count of how many were. And I don't know, I got to about 80 or 90. Yeah, I found it on Google, Gary Numan, songs that sample Gary Numan, and the list. It's just... Yeah. So I sort of got used to it now, and it's such a widespread thing. But, you know, it's flattering. Really, really, really flattering, actually. And some of them more than others, I guess. You know, there are people that have covered my stuff or play my stuff live or whatever, who are huge in their own right, you know, fantastic songwriters in their own right. And so, you know, when people like that cover your stuff, well, that really is a pat on the back. So, no, it's lovely. Well, you girls liked it anyway. Yeah, which is the most important thing, really. Now, one of them, the eldest one, was on with you last night, wasn't she? On the Persia, the middle one. Oh, the middle one, right. And was it... I just wanted to ask you what the experience was like after going back, after all these years. It was fantastic, actually. I was really nervous. I don't normally get nervous for things like that, but I really was. Why did you get nervous, do you think? Well, there's something unusual about television. In a gig, at a concert, you know, you've got thousands of people and they're kind of screaming and doing all that stuff, and it's very vibey, and so you can really go for it. You know, you're strutting about and moving around, and it's full on, and it's incredibly exciting. TV tends to be slightly sterile. You don't have that same atmosphere, so to suddenly start thrashing yourself around like a man possessed, which you would normally feel like doing, and it would be natural in a gig, feels completely unnatural in a TV schedule. But so you don't, and then you're aware that you're not, and then you feel, oh, this doesn't feel right, and it feels stilted and awkward. So you feel a bit awkward, right? Yeah, so it took me a while, but I was sort of on it all day, and we're just going to go out and tour. So we was actually rehearsing yesterday as well for the tour, and we have people come to rehearsals and watch, little groups of people. So I was really aware then that I don't know how to do it. So when it came time, I'm just whatever feels right, you know, that's what it'll have to be. So it was all right. Well, not in the old days, of course, and somebody made the point last night, there was no audience at all on Whistle Test apart from presenters on the sofa. Yes. So it must have been really weird to perform and then just be met by silence or somebody going, great. No names mentioned. So at least there was something of an audience there last night, although we never got to see him. And what could you see? Who was there? Was it other people who were taking part? Or? I honestly didn't notice. But there were people there. Yeah, but you're all in your it's a really, really big room, big studio, and the audience part of it was kind of on the other side to where we were, all sitting down. I didn't even notice them until actually when I had a chat with Bob after we'd done the song. I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I honestly just didn't notice. No. I was so concentrating on what I was doing and the band around me. The version of Our Friends Electric that we did last night, we'd only worked out that morning because it had to be much shorter because of the amount of time that we were given. And I wanted to do the full version of Ruin because that was the new song, so I was keen on that. And so we were all slightly looking at each other, you know, what comes next, because it's different to what we know. So that was on my mind quite a bit, not to mess up Our Friends Electric. Just going back, before we have My Name is Ruin, your performance from last night, which we've been given permission to use by the Suits. Thank you, bosses. Who was presenting it? Can you remember who was presenting it when you went on there? Penny Nightingale. Right, she wasn't on last night. I thought it was a real shame they didn't have her there. I was surprised, yeah. Because she was, like, famous for 78 to 82, championing guys like you and Adam Ant and Bauhaus and all those sort of post-punk people. Yeah. And she tweeted she asked to be on, and they said no. I thought that's a shame. Disgrace. I was surprised. I mean, she was you think of Olga Wilsonette, you think of Bob Harris and Annie Nightingale. They were the people. So I was really surprised she wasn't there. I assumed there was
a good reason for that.
Well, I think there's some kind of programme on tonight, Annie Nightingale thing, so we'll get the details and tell you that on BBC Telly. So we're going to watch, I'm not on the telly, we're going to hear last night's performance of My Name Is Ruin from his current album, and I know that the clothes that you're wearing tie in with the theme of the album,
yes,
which is sort of post-apocalyptic,
post-global
dystopia,
warming, apocalypse, yes.
All that, yeah.
All that.
And so it was like bandages and...
it's not bandages, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, well, you describe it then. I'm not a fashion...
Oh, me neither.
critic.
It's trying to find clothes which look vaguely... wrecked and trash because you can't buy new ones, so you
have to improvise.
Yeah, that are desert blasted, sun bleached, that are just generally you live in for most of your life and look a bit battered, and that
filthy.
you would wear in the desert because of the extreme temperatures, highs and lows.
Oh, right, okay. And I bet you said that they were meant to look like really utilitarian and tatty. I bet they cost you a fortune.
It did, yes. It really did.
I'll do it for you next time.
Ridiculous amount of money to look tatty. You cost your money.
I knew it. Right then, this is great, and it was such a powerful performance. And My Name Is Ruin. Gary Numan, Whistle Test, 2018, last night.
Forgiveness in you, when I beg for mercy in you, when I beg for nothing in you, I would always find my way to I got you shameful in you, when I caught you liar in you, I would always find my way to you.
My Name is Ruin, Gary Numan. Yeah. Whistle test. These days with an audience, hence the clapping. Just wanted to say that Savage, Songs from a Broken World, that's the album, is easily my favourite album of last year. No name on that, but that's all right, isn't it, Gary?
It's lovely, yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and I've got one in my hand here, and it is excellent. And bonus last night was somebody standing with you, also in, as I described it, bandages, but it's very expensive designer fashion wear. Do you want to introduce her?
This is my middle daughter, Persia.
Persia, lots of people commented on you last night. You looked absolutely beautiful. I prefer you without the tea towel on your head, but you did an excellent job. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I did actually. It was really fun.
So do you like playing live with your dad?
Yeah.
Do you not get scared?
I do, but not as much as I did the very first time.
Well, you're a credit to him, you really are. I've got another one here. Thank you for joining your dad. Gary Numan is a top gentleman, says Mary in Exeter. I'll just give you all these. You won't be able to get out of the studio. Right, so the tour. Some really, really nice venues. Mm-hmm, so this isn't the big stadium thing. This is going to be quite intimate. And yet, you're not holding back on the production and the visuals and everything else.
No, the main tour that we did when the album came out in October, mostly last year, we had a big video wall and so on behind us and lots of production that we carried. And even though this is the secondary tour, where we go to the places you sort of miss really on a main tour, which I think is important. I've also a tour should go to where the people are rather than expect them to travel hundreds of miles to come see you.
Yeah, you get some bands that they come over and they do 2 nights in Glasgow, 2 nights in Birmingham and 2 nights in London, don't they?
Yeah, I understand the problem. You get so big that there just aren't the places for everyone to get to see you. So there's another side to it, but I'm not in that position, unfortunately. So for me, I'm still in a position where you can actually go to where people are, which is cool. But we're taking the same production that we had on the big tour. So these places that we're going, it should look fairly full and hopefully sort of quite spectacular.
Well, I know some of these venues very well, and I think I'm just trying to imagine it's going to be fantastic. The tour starts on Monday the 12th of March, and on the Tuesday the 13th you're at Warwick Arts Centre, just bang in the middle of the University of Warwick campus. I've only ever seen films like arty films there, pretentious films.
I've never been
and
there
it's
before.
you're really close to you're sitting down, you're really close to the stage. Yeah. We've got Preston Guildhall, Hull City Hall, where I was not long ago, Northampton Road Menders, great venue up there over me, and Isle of Man Villa Marina. I've seen loads of bands there during the TT week, but Friday the 23rd of March, that one. Well, have a great time.
Thank you.
Are you staying for this, or do you have to go back to school?
I have to go back to school, but I might I'm not gonna. I don't think I'm gonna be here for this part, but
Right.
and we're not too sure yet.
Oh, well, you've got a few years in you yet. You'll be all right. I've got to ask you, last time you were here, which I didn't think was so long ago, but you said it might have been 2012. You were just about to pack up, and I think you're in the middle of moving to Los Angeles, moving the family over to Los Angeles. So, do you like it?
Yeah, love it. Yeah, really happy. It's difficult to sort of go on about it too much without sounding like you're criticising Britain, and I really don't mean it that way. But when people go on holiday from Britain, they tend to go overseas because it's warmer and sunny and there's oceans and it's beautiful.
We haven't been to the Isle of Man yet.
Maybe not quite the same thing, but to me, it's very much that same vibe. I've gone somewhere that you would tend to go to for a holiday, and I've stayed there because it's lovely, and there's the ocean and there's mountains and there's palm trees and it's always sunny, and it's incredibly friendly and it's vibrant and there's a huge amount going on all the time. I wanted to get into film music. I'm not sure about that anymore, but I wanted to get into film music. Again, best place to be. So for me and for the family, it's worked out really, really well.
And have you got lots of fellow Brit expat rock stars that you meet up with? And
we've got plenty of people, music people that we hang out with. Not that many British ones, but a few. But I didn't go there to set up Little Britain.
No,
I don't have a Union
I didn't mean
Jack.
that.
You want to sort of immerse yourself in the culture and the people that are there.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing. But we come back to Britain so often. I'm here now for 6 weeks. So I was here about 3 or 4 months last year, and we're coming back again in November. We're coming back again in the summer. So people say, "Do you miss anything?" I never get chance to miss anything. I'm here all the time. Yeah.
And so you're living in Los Angeles and coming to Britain. It's your holidays. Hooray!
It's nice. It's nice to come back and catch up with everyone and remember. But it's lovely to go back to something really warm and vibrant.
I just want to ask you quickly, and I don't want to get depressing, but your album is about what could happen ultimately with the climate change and everything else, global warming. So California is already experiencing the effects, isn't it, with water shortages and wildfires and people being told they can't fill the pools or water the lawns, and quite rightly, because people need water to drink.
Yeah, no, it's bad. I mean, but one of the things about being a touring musician is that you're travelling the world constantly.
Yeah.
So you get to see the effects of it. You're pretty much everywhere you go. So to be denying it the way that certain major politicians are in America is just it's ignorance to a level you can barely comprehend. It's abject stupidity. So. It is real and it is coming, and we do need to do something about it.
Well, that's the theme of Savage, the album, and thank you for coming in. And we did hear one track of it performed live last night on Whistle Test. My name is Ruin. It's lovely to see you. Come back in another 5 years.
Well, sooner, hopefully.
No, you're here for ages now, and people can catch you around the country. Thank you very much. Give out the tour dates again. So, last night was a treat because... Sugar Babes, they're all right, but you did this yourself last night, and I particularly like the talky bits last night.
I prefer their version, funny enough.
Oh, right, OK. Well, we'll have this one for all you fans out there. Gary Numan from last night, Our Friends Electric, the old grey Whistle Test performance 2018. All the best.
Thank you very much.
See you soon.
Thank you.
A man outside
alone, now I can think for myself. And about little deals and issues, and things that I just don't understand. Like a white light that night, not a slight touch at times. But I don't think it meant anything to you. So I found out your reason for the bunkles and smiles. And it hurts and I'm lonely, but I should never have tried. I done missed you tonight, so it's time to leave. You see, it meant everything to me.
Fantastic. Last night's performance, our friends Electric, Gary Numan on tour from March the 12th in Southampton through to Sunday the 25th in Northampton.